Hello everybody, welcome to the third day of our Displays and Lighting event. It's now my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Brad Miller, who's the Digital Engineering Manager of Lamar, and he's going to give us a presentation on out-of-home advertising, the digital evolution and the future. As always, please leave your questions for Brad in the sidebar. Please leave your questions as soon as you can. There's often a slight delay, so don't wait until the end of the presentation. I'm now going to turn off my camera and hand over to Brad, and then I'll reappear at the end to take your questions. Over to you, Brad.
Good morning and welcome. Thanks for joining this session about Lamar Advertising. We've been very interested in watching many of the other presentations and seeing the technology evolve, and we thought it would be a good time to share a little bit about us, as we are a potential end user of some of this technology. So I thought I'd share a little bit about where we've been, who we are, and where we're headed. So a little bit about Lamar Advertising. We're in the continental United States of America. We have about 351,000 displays across North America. And that encompasses roadside billboards and then into some airports and transits and that type of thing to reach a variety of people. A lot of people moving around in the United States, and they see our signs on their daily interaction. Around the early 2000s, we thought, well, we need to have a more interactive method to update our copy versus our previous vinyl and printed paper. And so we tried this digital display, and it took us a little bit to get it right, but as of today we have over 3,700 displays and counting. And just to give a sense as the broad out of home, as we call our business, because people are out of the home and moving around, there's close to, we estimate, 1 million displays across all the out of home players. So a little bit about where we started. So it's kind of an interesting quick story. There was a theater, and of course they had to advertise for the theater for the different shows that were happening there. So they had a little bill posting company that would go out and post these pictures of what show was going on. And as the two partners decided to part ways, they flipped the coin, and the loser got the out-of-home business. Well, the theater is long gone, but obviously the advertising company is still going strong. So let's talk a little bit about outdoor advertising. Where did it come from and how has it evolved today? So I feel like we need to cue the theme song to The Big Bang Theory as we go back to the Egyptian era. We believe this here was actually some of the early out-of-home advertising. So of course they engraved this. That copy would have stayed up for a significant amount of time, but we believe that was reaching people who were out of home. A little bit more current days, around the theater time frame, early 1800s and so forth. Here it's printed paper and it's being posted up on walls in all sorts of different areas. I mean, anywhere there was a good flat spot, they could post a piece of paper and advertise their wares and services and what have you. So obviously, as regulations take in, that limits where these things could be posted. But in early days, it was fair game. As we move along, some of our larger scale displays in the early days, these were hand painted. So there's vertical sections there. This is a person, one of our painters from probably 40 years ago. You can see that person in scale with what we call a 1448 bulletin. So these sections were hand painted in the shop environment and then hauled out to the site and lifted up to the structure and assembled to put the advertising copy out there. As we move along, one of our big innovations was getting into printing. So now we could print on vinyl and PE. So now instead of hand painting, it's all digital printed. So this was some of the early digital conversion. And of course, here's a little bit earlier. We're still using paper as of about 15 to 20 years ago. We did go away from paper being posted with paste. But here you can see a guy out here putting up the new paper. He's covering up the old copy with new paper and moving along. And after this layered up to be maybe an inch